Hey up everybody and welcome back. Ooh. Things sounded a bit strange there. Have my little earplugs in because I was using the angle grinder, the die grinder rather. Alright, so got the side panels on. I had to tweak things a little bit, and you know, well, you should remember I marked these sort of exactly, measured them off the other frame, but they seem to be out a little bit because I've got a gap here. I'm sure that should follow the tube. Alright, and I just had a thought about something as well. So anyway, I've got those on. This week we have a sort of fabrication job and some little things. We have to put the footrests on, we have to put the brake pedal on. I got the proper full rebuild kit for the front brake master cylinder, so I can do that. But the big thing is to put the exhaust on and get the silencer in here. I'll explain how I'm going to do that in a minute. And I've just thought I'll put wires and oil line right here, and that's where the is it, or does it, no, the exhaust is going to go through there. So yeah, I'm going to have to move those over, which is a pity because you'll see them more there. They were reasonably tucked out the way, but anyway, we will come to that. So that's going to be the job for this week. We're sort of really close to finishing. So also, you remember me telling you about that little grey patch? I found a couple of other blemishes on the tank. Because it's got the decals and everything on, I'm going to try and do a little paint repair, which with panels and got clear coat and everything on isn't that easy to get it all to blend in, or at least not for me. So I'm going to try that, but that will be done sort of in the background, as you know. I've got something to tell you about the saddle. Other than that, we will just get on with that. I had a comment, of course I've forgotten your name, sorry, about the Electrex world. Somebody who said they had exactly the same problem, but unfortunately they'd cracked the stator plate. When you remember, there was a little noise, but I went over, I actually got my big magnifying glass out and I went over that stator plate and I couldn't find any cracks at all. Of course, it doesn't mean there isn't one. We'll find out when we see if it runs. Okay, so there was that. And the other thing was I got a letter. I got a letter from Victor. Thank you very much. He also sent me some pictures. And wasn't long-winded at all, Victor. I'm a letter writer, so do not text. I suppose texting has its purpose, but it annoys the hell out of me when I see people texting backwards and forwards. I think, you know, you've got your phone out, you've dialed the number, why don't you just talk to people? Anyway, that's just an old man being curmudgeonly, possibly. So I wanted to say, as I say, thank you to Victor, and Linda insisted that I say this, so there's a disclaimer. In his letter, Victor mentions that I should write a book. I don't know if it means motorcycle book or what, but I have actually written a novel some years ago. So if you have a Nook, or what's the other one? A Kindle, you can read my novel. It's a fantasy novel, if you like. It's called The Wizard's Gift. There you are, and it's like $2. Alright, so let me show you the saddle, and then we'll see about moving these things so we can put the exhaust pipe on, and I'll show you how I'm planning to get the exhaust pipe married up to the silencer. Right, now the silencer, as you know, was a cut down sort of standard BSA silencer, so that I could get it. Hang on, I'm just checking to see if you can see something. No, you can't. I'm going to move you over a little bit. There we go. So that I could get it to go on there. Now, instead of being the type of silencer that has some legs on with slots in that go down onto these bolts, this silencer has two sort of studs in the base, and they go in those holes. So I was very careful that when it went on there, those bolts dropped through there. Then when I couldn't put it on, I realised that what I wasn't looking at was the length of the bolts. And they barely fitted through. There was just enough to get a nut on, but that had it tight on the frame, actually pulled down. So I thought, you know, it's all upholstered and everything, so I can't really do much about the bolts. So what I did was, and let me make sure you can see, and of course you can't, here we go, and I'll even zoom you in a bit. The light isn't shining on that too much. So anyway, what I did was I slightly shortened the bolts, and then I made up two pieces. So this was a piece of solid round, I drilled it and threaded it, and then this end I turned to 5/16 and threaded that. So these screw on, and they do several jobs. They provide a sort of a pillar for the seat to sit on, and they extended the bolts so that now they fit right through, and I can get a nut on, and everything still matches up. Excuse my head here. They still fit through, but now I can actually get a nut on them. So that wasn't too difficult to put right. Zoom. So as I say, it went on. I've now got enough room to put a nut washer, lock washer, whatever, and it's all on. And now it's also, there's a little gap here, so it's actually sitting where it should be on those supports, because they're really thick. So that's that. Alright, we take the side cover off. Actually, we'll take the saddle off again. What I also had to do actually was grind a fraction out of those, because when I put them on there, it was just tight against this. So, okay, let me move you around. Right, just in case you're sitting there going, what? What? I obviously just had a senior moment. This is a silencer, that is a saddle. Silencer, saddle. Right, let's press on. Right then, so the exhaust pipe is going to go through there, I think, isn't it? Yes, it is. So, we can't have those there. We're going to have to move them over towards the middle. Let's have a look, see. Move them over there like that. Right, well I can, you know, there's plenty of space and everything. I can fasten them up and they'll be well out of the way. So let me get a cable tie. Well, I've said this before and now I'll say it again. I don't think I've ever bought an exhaust pipe in the last few years that has fitted. Curve and everything seems fine. Well, it's touching the frame there, which is, well, no, that will move. But look, we're half a hole out there. So we're going to have to bend this, and I'm always terrified of doing that with modern chrome because half the time it flakes off. So hopefully, I think these are made in the UK, hopefully the chrome will be alright. So I've got to, how close up have I got you there? Oh no, you can see it right. I'm going to have to bend this top part down and then bend this part in. And then we should be alright. So let me do that. No, I'll tell you what I'll do. Before I do that, I'll show you my plan. Right, well, the silencer is designed to tuck in. That's why we made this pocket there. Right, so the silencer goes in there. So it's right in here where the exhaust is going to come through. I'll show you in a minute. So we're going to have to shorten the exhaust. And actually we're going to have to do this more than I thought. Oh, this is going to be a little bit of an bugger, I think. Alright, so you'll notice I've put a couple of pieces of tape on. Let me put the exhaust back on so you can see how far out it is. Right. So the silencer goes right inside there, and this obviously comes right out here. So we're going to have to shorten this. So what we're going to do is, the idea of the tape is I'm going to put the silencer back on and mark on the tape, sort of a straight line from mudguard to frame here, where the silencer goes to. Then take the silencer off, put the exhaust pipe on, and then I can mark the exhaust pipe just a little shy of where the silencer is. Then when I've cut that, I have made, hold on a second, a sleeve. Alright, when I say made, I had to make it because I didn't have any alloy tube the right size. I had some that was too big and some that was too small, so I slimmed this down. Then we'll slide this all the way on, have the pipe and the silencer on, and then we'll slide this up until it is touching the silencer. Then because it's all going to be at an angle, I can start cutting this to fit. And when the two fit up, we'll mark this and the silencer, take it off, tack it, dry it, and then weld it up. That's the plan. Whether it will work or not is another matter. Slightly difficult to get the camera in so you can see, but anyway, I've got the silencer in on its mounts. Now as you can see, there's the corner. We're going to have to go into that at a bit of an angle. So I've marked there, and I've marked here, and that is basically where we're going to cut that corner off. It's going to be a bit of a jiggly cut. It's going to be interesting to do. Oh, that's going to point it right at... I think what I'm going to have to do here is I'm going to take the silencer off and show you something in a minute. So I think I'm going to have to put the pipe right back to here. So, oh dear, hold on. I'm just putting the tape on so I don't have to put felt tip pen on any of the paintwork, particularly white. Alright, so you know it's going to be in there like that. So the most the pipe can come to is, I think, from there to there. If I'm across like that, that I think will work, because we have a couple of things to take into account, which I'll show you now. On the exhaust pipe, I need to have enough straight pipe so that when this goes on, it can clamp up and seal. So in other words, I can't cut this back here, that won't go onto a curve. So there is probably as much as I can cut off. Now then, on the silencer, get that off. Here we're going to come in at the corner. Now I was going to cut the corner off here to give me a little bit more room, but that brings me shooting. Hang on, I bet you're out of focus there, aren't you? Ah, not too bad, not too bad, but we'll sharpen you up. But that would bring us coming pointing at this pocket, and I don't want to. So I think what I'm going to do is cut the pipe so it's back here like that, and then make, where's it gone? I've lost my bit there. And then make this piece actually go in, cut that piece like that, so it's right back there. Then I just need to cut a round hole in that, pop that on, you know, sort of bird's mouth it, pop that on there, weld it on. It's all making it more difficult, but it'll work, I think. Right, I put the pipe back on. Oh, and just out of interest, I bent the mounting. I did it in one go, which was very nice, particularly because the problem there with chrome is you can generally get away with bending it once, twice, but you can't get away with bending it one way and then saying, oh shoot, I've gone too far, bend it back, you know, like that. Okay, so what I've done is I've slid the sleeve on basically up to the bend. So that's as far as I could get it. Now if I put that there, is that my clever little tool? If I put that to the lines I made there, as you can see, well, hang on, can you see? Ow, that was my head hitting handlebars. I can't get a clip on. Bring it back here. Then I can. There's just enough space to get a clip on. So what I'm going to do is mark that there, and I'm going to mark that there. And then I'll measure this little bit and I'll know where that mark's going to be. So let me mark these up and then I'll bring it back. Right, so you could just see it. There's the end of the thing. So this is where we're going to cut it. Fingers crossed. I mean, I always weld it back on. But that is where we're going to cut it, and that'll give us enough to have the slots and a clip and a solid bit. Alright, it's turned out at 1 inch. So let me go and cut that off, so keep your fingers crossed. Well, I was mistaken in that, wasn't I? Man, I don't see how... That's the way the pipe goes, but that barely gives... That doesn't give the bloody swinging arm enough room to move, does it? But that's how the pipe goes. As I say, when do you ever find a pipe? That pipe could be a lot higher. I wonder if it's just... Hang on. Right then, I just knocked that front engine mounting bolt through, so it's not in the bracket. And, hang on, let me move around this side of it. That pipe can come up. You have to work some more on the bracket, but that's a minor issue. Now then, what I'm going to need to do now, because now it's just, let's say I can't shorten this anymore or I won't have enough space to put a collar on that'll, a sleeve on that'll be able to clamp up. So we've got to cut, it's now catching just on the very corner of that, which is where I thought it would be. So I've got to cut a little bit off the corner, and then we can bring this up and see where it's going to go. And there's sod all room to get a bolt in here as well. I've had to use a 1/2 inch bolt, whereas a 3/4 was my original plan. Alright, let me mark this and cut a little bit off the corner here. Right, now I've got this higher, which of course has moved that front mounting out, because I found the top mounting bolt here on these rear engine plates, it was catching on that. There wasn't enough space. But if I put one of those button ones in, or actually what I might do is just squish up the exhaust pipe very slightly, it comes up, right, look at that. Masses of space, and of course that's going to make it different. I'm glad I noticed this before I started cutting, but that puts us completely different here. See, that's where I thought it was going to go. So I've got to cut that corner off. This pipe's literally going to have to stick inside there. Oh, bugger. Getting it on and off a little bit difficult. Let me just cut that corner off. I'm going to cut this up in very small slices till we get it up to match. So let me go and do that. Right, we're getting closer, but actually it's going to have to be really clever, because let me put that in there so I know I've got the right position. That's going to come up to there, like that. I've got something stuffed under that so it's in the right place. It's actually going to be into the back a little bit, so let's you're looking at my bald patch again, are you? Alright. Let's see what that looks like. So now I'm going to have to bolt this up to make sure we're not doing things which are... So we're going to cut that out of there. Fingers crossed again, people. Right, I'm about there. I've actually been backwards and forwards a bunch of times. I have cut too much out the top, but it's going to be inside there. You won't notice it. We'll put a patch in and everything will be fine. And I've still got a little bit to cut out of the bottom. It's just difficult to mark it. Then we're going to have to fit that in there. I've got a bolt in actually, it's tight up. I would love to tack this in situ, but I never do any sort of electric welding when there's electronics connected to the bike. Even if they're all disconnected, I just, you know, why risk a couple of £100 worth of electronics? I can fit this on, I can mark it, and then we'll see. In fact, I wonder if I can get that on. No, it won't slide on far enough. So I've still got to take off some round here. But it's lunchtime. Yeah, that's bolted up there, that's tight at the top, so that's where it's going to be. Let's see what it looks like. Yes, I like that. I think that's that fits in with that line and the line of the side cover, the line of the tubes. Not too shabby. Alright, I'll go and have some scran, and then we'll see about fitting the alloy part, the sleeve, into the silencer. So I want to get the exhaust pipe bolted up tight. Look how far out that is. There's only one way that I've fiddled and fiddled. I'm going to have to put a piece in it. Look at it. Bloody well. There's nearly, it's 3/8 up there, nearly half an inch down here. How do they dare sell things like these? Right, let me cut a little piece, put it in. I hope I've got some stainless or whatever. It needs the welds tidying up a little bit, but at least it's all the way into the exhaust port. It doesn't touch back there, and the bolt goes straight through the hole. Right, now let's look at how we fit this onto the silencer. So, made a bit of a pig's ear of this. I've got a huge gap at the top. Get a pencil in there. And I've come out so far out. Anyway, so what I need to do now is make this hole so that that will go into it. So I'm not going to mark it where that is. What I've done with it here, I've got a little bit of 1/16, which is the same wall thickness as the other piece, and we're going to put it on there and slide it round, working our way around and marking that. Right, so I'll mark it there, there, so on and so forth. I can't do it very easily because you're in the way. So when I've got that marked, I'll have it marked out big enough for that to fit in. So hopefully when we cut that out, we can then slide this onto there and slide this silencer onto that, and then we can do our final markings. Right, well, as you can see, it's on, and this is actually tacked in a couple of places, so that's it. But you'll also notice there's no rear mudguard on, because I almost painted myself into a corner with this pocket idea. It is difficult to get it on. You just need the extra bit of space of the mudguard not being there, which of course makes it extremely annoying. Although the mudguard only takes a couple of minutes to take off with all the wires just being like that. It comes off with the loop and the backlight and everything on. It's the two top bolts there, the two top bolts there, and that one, and then it just comes off. So it's no big deal. And as I've said before, if any of you worked on modern cars and modern bikes, you've very often got to take half a dozen things off to get at one thing that looks to be easy to get at, because they're designed for ease of assembly at the manufacturing plant. So anyway, it seems to go on. Seems to be alright there. I don't know if I've got it exactly right, but it's on. I can put a clip on there. So let me tell you what, I'll show you me getting it off, shall I? And also, this hole here wouldn't line up. I sort of elongated into a slot, and now it's on. It's exactly where it was to start with. I didn't need to do anything. So I don't know what that was. The other thing, of course, is with the mudguard off, I can, as I said, put along the 3/4 bolt on. So take that off. This one comes out. And then, see, it just starts to catch there. If that was fractionally smaller, but you can just finagle it out with that little bit of movement here that you can't get with the mudguard being there. I'll tell you what does it look? It's 12:05. I started on this a couple of hours ago. So let me get this welded in properly and we'll see if it'll go back on. There it is, all back together. This went on no problem with that on. It isn't a big deal. The mudguard, I say there's 2, 4, 5 bolts, and then this all comes off, the indicators, the lights and everything once you disconnect that. In fact, you could take those 2 bolts out and even that would come off with it. But I'd never thought of that problem. That was just a bracket, wouldn't have been a problem, but it was getting it in. And if you were wondering why I didn't loosen this, it's because the bit of joggle I wanted was upwards. I could joggle that down, but not up. And I needed it to come up to be able to get that in there. So anyway, it does go in. It's not that big a job. And as I say, I do think that was the right way to go. I don't think it would have looked right with some little, I mean, everybody to their own, but I wouldn't have liked it. Alright, there we go. It's been a very exasperating day. So, taking the Enfield out, we'll go and ride some sections to cheer myself up. See you tomorrow. Right then, good morning. First job we're going to do today is we'll rebuild this. I got my proper full rebuild kit. Okay, so let's see. That goes on there. Then we'll where's it gone?
we'll just put a little bit of brake fluid on those. And that goes in there, like thus. And then that is going to go in there. Let's see how that's going to hold that in there, to be honest. That's not a very good picture you're getting there, but oh, come on. These pins are just a little bit big for the hole. No, it's not quite in. See, it's trying to do it and trying to keep you in view. Hang on. Oh. There. That's got it. Then this has got a spring on it. This is the wrong one. Yeah, Mike said that they changed the design. See, this thing should fit in under there. So I was thinking it would go in there, forgetting that the clip goes in there. Alright, so it doesn't matter, that's, you know, external. We can put everything else together and put it on the handlebars. We'll just put that on and screw the screws in so I don't lose them, so we can top it up. Right, so there's just that to go on there. Or on there, as the case may be. There we go. Whoops. That's too big. Hang on. Forgot to start you there. So I took this out because it was a bit grungy. I'm just running it to 5mm by 0.8. So we'll clean that thread up. And we'll stick that in there. That's more like it. I won't put the lever in yet because we've still got to get that little doodad for there. Right, so let's go and put this on the handlebar. Right, well, we're going to instead of screwing this into there, we're going to screw that onto there because of that wire. So, easier set, there we go. See, now I'm not twisting the wire or anything like that. Except I should have. Early morning, see. Plus, I don't think I had that cable tie on when I took this off. But we're alright. No, I was right in the first place, wasn't I? Oh. Come on, Michael, wake up. Actually, I'll mention something which has got nothing to do with this bike. When I was out riding the Enfield the last couple of times, it's been a bit quick. And you know, it shouldn't be. It's a long stroke 350. And then it suddenly struck me. It's going to go on there. Like that. Are we going to put that up there like that? And put that on. I'm really out of it today, aren't I? That's going to go like that. Yes. Right. Now we're shaping. What was I saying? So yeah, I noticed it was a bit quick off the mark and it shouldn't be. And I was wondering what that was. And then it suddenly struck me. It's something I can never remember. So I had to phone Mike and find out. These twist grips have the plastic part that's got the cam on it that pulls the cable. You can get two different speeds. There's a black tube and a white tube. And they have different geometry so that for a given amount of twist here, you get different amounts of pull. So from fully open on one to fully closed to fully open on one. Yeah, I thought I was talking to you. And see, one turns less to go from full open to full close. So for each little bit of this, you pull in the choke. Oh God, maybe I should start work at lunchtime. For each bit of twist on here, you pull the slide up a different amount. And I've got the white one in here, which is the fast one. And I've asked Mike this, I don't know how many times, because I always forget. I couldn't think of a mnemonic for it. I like mnemonics because my memory's not brilliant, never has been. Alright, that's going to go on there like that. And yeah, white is the fast one. So the only problem is, I don't know if you can get the different sized ones for these Amel throttles. And as you know, I like these Amel throttles because the Domino ones are made out of plastic. These Amel ones are actually alloy. The Amel one has an adjuster in it, which the Domino doesn't have. Come on now. I have to rethink that slightly. Hang on. Yeah, that's alloy as opposed to plastic. And also it has an adjuster in it, which the Domino doesn't have. And the little wheel has a little brass bush in these, again, which the Domino doesn't have. So I prefer to use the the Amel ones, but as I say, I don't know if Amel make a different, the slow tube. I can't get these to the little holes to line up. Just put that on. There must be a right way and a wrong way. And of course I put it on the wrong way. So, I have to do a little experimentation on Friday when I go to Mike's. See if the domino tube, because I know he sells just the tubes. See if a domino tube will go on this. If it won't, certainly on the end field I might have to put... There we go. I might have to put a domino throttle on, which I'm loath to do. I mean, they're good quality and all the rest of it, and all the trials bikes have them. It's not as if they fall apart or anything. It's going to be about like that. Right, so that will go on there. I won't tighten it up completely because, as you saw, we've got to fiddle around and get it where it's comfortable when you're sitting on the bike. What I like to do is I like to have them so as my hand sits on it, it just pulls naturally. I don't like to be like this or like that. So it depends on how tall you are, where you sit, where the handlebars are, and everything as to where that goes. Alright, so that's that on. I was going to say I thought there wasn't enough cable then. Yes, we've got plenty. Let's have a look at the footrests. Right, well, footrests. Now these footrests have got these strange little springs in them. And they point forwards, so they've got sort of a locking tang on the back. So that one goes on like that, so that this, right, can flip up that way, and there's a spring to return it. And the spring, make sure you're still with me here, the spring goes in the end like that, and then inside here, down the bottom, there's a little pin. So we've got to get that I bet my hands are in the way here, aren't they? Then we've got to put that in there, get it on that little pin, and then we've got to stretch this and put a bolt in. And these I've made sure I've got shouldered bolts. What I actually had to do is get a long one, cut it back so that I had enough shoulder. Now then, let me clean my hands a little. This is a pretty... See, this is a three-handed job. Actually, I'm going to go and put this in the vise because we're going to put a rubber on this. I think I've got some of the square holed ones. But if I put this in the vise, it doesn't matter if I mark that. So let's move over there. Right, now you get another chance to watch me struggling with something. I put a bit of paper in there. It's not so much that I've got to grip this tight. This end plate is bigger so it will catch against that, hopefully. So, get that on its little pin. How does this go in here? Can't even remember how it goes in now. I got this the right way around. Alright, I had it on upside down. I just got the other one. Let's see. Yeah, that goes on there like that. So that flicks up. Okay. Try again. Now we're shaping. Just as I got the bolt in, would you believe? Come on now. There it goes. And excuse me. We're going to put lock nuts on these. Now lock nuts on. I use nylock nuts on these type of footrests with the sort of outside clamping feature, because that way you can tighten the nut up without squishing that part, so it doesn't grip the part that it's supposed to pivot on. Yep, so that's it. Now that goes on like that, and that can get knocked up and springs back to where it should be. Excellent. So let me do the other one, then we'll fit them. Right, well, so as I say, they point forward. You see the slot there? That fits that, and that's what stops it from swiveling about. So we have this incredibly long bolt, which goes right through there. Go around the other side. Hoping this is the right bolt. It's about the only bolt in the parts book that doesn't give you the dimensions. Yep, that looks alright. If anything, it's a little long, but I'm putting a lock nut on this end of it. Okay, hang on. I'll just put a spanner over there, the right spanner for it. There we go. And I've just checked in the parts book, and it does show this having a rubber on it, a footrest rubber on. So, next thing we'll do is get our little box out of miscellaneous footrest rubbers. New ones, they're not old ones. But the British Cycle Supply, I think it was them I got them off, used to sell these, like the gear change rubbers, in packages of sort of, well, for the gear change rubber I think it was packages of 10. I could have done with using the socket here instead of a spanner. Oh, for those of you who were thinking that it was a bit naff putting the crosshead screws back in, I set to and got all the measurements, and I've ordered stainless steel Allen bolts. There we go. And as I say, they pop up if something hits them. And with the rubber on, although they look a bit strange, with the rubber on they'll be right. There's not a lot of space for the kickstart lever, is there? But I guess it must fit on. Alright, let's get our box of rubber footrest things out. Right, so here we go. Footrest rubbers and miscellaneous rubber. How much dirt gets around? Okay, what have we got? domino grips, little kickstart rubbers, more kickstart rubbers, as I say, packs of gear change rubbers, and I tell a lie, I must have used them on something. I don't, I've got tank rubbers. I wonder if they're the right size for there, because I put the other ones on and they were a bit thick. Alright, so I'm going to have to order them now, which is alright, because as you know I've got to order a kickstart lever and a gear change lever. But that sets us back a few days. But I can be doing other things while they are coming. Alright, so that's them on. Brake pedal and prop stand. Right, well, we'll start with the prop stand. Now you see what a big hole that is? That is because there's a bush goes in there. Okay, and that was tight coming out the other one. I can't remember what turns on what. Sure, that bush should be tight in there. Just in case it's the bush. It can't be the bush that turns. I might end up making a new bush for this. We'll see. Anyway, it's in there now, or I could always, I suppose, put some green Loctite on just to grip it in place. I mean, it's not as if this is something that has a shaft running in it, it's just a pivot bush. So then there's a slightly strange countersunk but domed bolt, if you've got the right one. I'm getting greasy and dirty here. And as you'll see, it is countersunk for this very bolt. And it's threaded on this side, and then there's a lock nut. So that goes on. There. Like so. Come on. There isn't that much paint on. Oh, where's my little hamburger gone? There it is. There it is. There we go. Oh, this is really tight. I'll have to slacken this off. Right, now this tightness isn't so much the thickness of the paint as the fact that they tend to get crimped up. And if you have got to spread them, make sure you don't spread them too much or the holes won't line up and that won't thread in. Alright? So let's try again. Let me make sure this bike is tight. Excuse me, getting in front of you there. You need to be able to pull that out of the way. Oh, can't get that big a screwdriver in. I'm leaving you on your own a lot today, aren't I? Here I come back. Funny how all these little jobs, I've given myself a certain length of time to do them all, and it's taking a lot longer. Alright, there that is coming through, you see? It's stiff, but you see it's alright down there, it's stiff up there. It'll loosen up. Now what I'm hoping is that I can get a nylock nut on there, and then that way again we don't have to clamp it up quite so much. I think that's the nut that came off. That's a lock nut. Yeah, it's still locking. Alright, we're good, we're good. Let's, I've just had over 9/16, which is what that should be. There we go. Let's put a washer on there as well. Do 3/8 washer. Might be a 3/8 washer laid about. No. 3/8. Come on, there's washers all over the place here. That looks like a 3/8. There we go. Again, I should have got the ratchet out, shouldn't I? I just tapped through that hole and a die on this bolt, so this is locking up nicely. I might take that off and redo it. It's still, see, it's fine down there, but it's really tight there. Now then, the next thing is I have got, I'm not sure, I think this is a B50 spring, but I'm not absolutely certain. Let's see. Oh no, that won't stretch that far. Alright, so I've got to order a B50 spring. Right. Next thing then is this. And this also has a special bolt. It's a big shouldered bolt. With the shoulder longer than the hole thing it goes through, so that you can tighten up on it and not crimp up. And of course we've got paint in there. Oh bugger. Let me go and clean this off. Right, I'm back. Grease this up. Put it in there. That in there. Washer. Again, lock nut. Nylock nut. That's 9/16. I'll go on there, and this is what, 3/4 or something, 13/16. Now I still haven't found a little bit of rubber for putting on here. I've got to look into that. But that's a minor thing, we can put that on any time. There we go, see that's tight, but that'll still move. Alright, so the next thing we'll do, I think, is pop the chain on, because I'm thinking, hang on, I probably have to open you out a bit. Yeah. I think I'm going to make a chain guard. Now, these had a chain guide, which just was, it was a very nasty sort of, I'll pull one out later on, thing that went down here just to stop the chain if it came off. Well, supposedly to stop it coming off, but it wasn't much use. Bolted on there, but the other place it bolted was onto the brake plate. So we can't do that because we don't have a stationary brake plate. This bit is going to be rotating. So I think what I'll do is make a nice alloy chain guard, because I'm hoping people, whoever buys this, is going to use this off-road. And what we'll do is we'll make it about a year long, and we'll mount it from here. Might mount it from the inside. There's enough space in there to get it on. But that what I might do actually is weld a boss on it that's threaded, so we're not trying to fit a nut in there. Alright, so let me get the chain. We'll slip that in. Oh, come on, what's the matter with you? Tell you what, let's put this back up here, just to be on the safe side. And anyway, I'm going to want to be able to twiddle the rear wheel. Uh-oh. Oh, what's this? The sprocket hardly wants to turn. It's definitely in neutral. Oh, there's something binding that up. Damn! Right, we're going to have to do some looking at that. But I don't want to get into that now because it could go on, and I don't want to split what I'm doing. I tell you what, I think this is a reasonable length of video. Actually, I've got a feeling I know what that is. I wonder if it's that thrust washer that goes on the main shaft. Anyway, we'll see. Because I think everything was spinning before I put that. Oh, or is it in the clutch? Something jamming down there. Got space between the nut and the casing. Anyway, it's going to have to take some looking at. So I'm going to leave that for now. And so we'll do these last couple of things, a little bit with the brake and one thing and another. I'll get the tank done for next week, so hopefully next week we'll actually finish and get it started. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Alright, so until then everybody, stay safe and enjoy yourselves.